Oh my gosh, I think that's every mother and wife who goes through a stage where they feel like they are not enough. And I think part of that comes because of the multiple transitions that you go through in life as a woman if you choose to become a wife and mother. I think the way that I think about it now is that you go through a series of identity crises because you grow up being told, here's who you are, here's the things that you can do, or learning the things that you can do and believing in yourself, and you establish your own identity. And then in an instant, whether it's the change from your name changing or moving from one home into another home, especially when you go from being yourself to then becoming someone's mother, you take on a whole different title. And in some cases, you stop. It's not that you stop being yourself, but you stop having yourself as the focus, because now these other people are the most important people in your life, which is exactly the way that it should be, especially when you are a mom and you are focusing and trying to raise your children. But what that means is all of a sudden, all of the things that you had invested, the time that you'd invested in yourself, it kind of feels like it goes away. And you start to question everything that you knew about yourself because suddenly you don't have your own interests and hobbies. You have children, and all of your time and interests and hobbies get wrapped into what your children are doing, which I think is the reason that women sometimes forget that they still have worth in and of themselves. I remember going from a time where I had my own career, where I was respected in the industry that I worked in. And I remember one of my bosses at one point in time talking about my potential in the company and how she could see that I could be a star. I had so much potential. And then just a year later, I was home with a brand new baby. I had no one who was giving me that reinforcement that I had anything to offer. And when people talked to me, when I would go to the doctor's office or somewhere else, I was Trendon's mom. They didn't even call me by my name anymore. I became Trendon's mom. And as he went to school, I was Trendon and Lindy's mom. And I think that little change in identity and in feeling like you're responsible for yourself and you know who you are, to all of a sudden, whoop, change. Now you're someone else. And as much as you think that you prepared yourself for that, it's a hard reality. It's a hard reality that you can be part of groups that you're in daily, and yet those people don't even know your name. They know you by your child. They know you by your spouse. They know you for a completely different reason than what you believed yourself to be and who you knew yourself to be. So I think it's very normal to not feel good enough, but it's very, very real, and it's rip your heart out hard when you're in the middle of it because you feel like I'm doing the most important thing in the world. I'm raising the next generation of children. I should feel totally satisfied and I should love every minute of this. But it is hard, and you don't get those daily or weekly moments where you feel that worth. I mean, even something like a paycheck. When you go to work, even if you don't love your job, you still know that you're of value and know you're of worth because they send you a paycheck at the end of the week. You don't get that when you're at home. And all of the ways that people had previously showed that you were of value, those kind of disappear. And you get the paybacks when you see your child smile and when you see them accomplish something. But it's not on a regular and consistent basis. And it can be a really, really difficult thing to learn how to embrace that stage that you're in. Something else that makes it hard is the fact that you lose a lot of your social network. Not intentionally, and you might still have play groups and things that you do go and do with your children, but by virtue of what motherhood looks like, you're often home with a child in your house by yourself. And all of the people who had been cheering you on and the people who threw you that baby shower, they're not there with you every day. And suddenly you're not going to lunch every day. You're not seeing your friends on a regular basis, and you're not having that social value and interaction. And I think all of those things together really, really make it hard. And the way that media downplays that and upplays what they think a woman should be like now, I think it makes it harder. And I think it makes it harder for women to make the decision that they want to be mothers. And I think it makes it harder when they're in the middle of it and they feel like they're alone. And so when you feel that way, I think the most important thing you can do is reach out to someone and let them know you feel alone. And if it's another mom, 90% of the time, she's going to say, oh my gosh, I feel exactly the same way. And just by having someone else to talk to, by exchanging that text message, by meeting once in a while for a play date, you can start to restore that little bit of sanity that you felt like you were missing when you were just living by yourself in a couple of rooms in your home, hearing nothing but cries and squeals all day. You can really start to benefit from the adult conversations and the other things that really are still happening, but that maybe you had to step away from. So make sure that you still engage in the things that are important and that you still make other people a part of your life, even when you're in the hardest of times and you're home with your little ones.